Good morning. Today I'm very happy to welcome Vanessa Leonard. She's a model, actress, and now a writer-director of a new film. Been doing very good on Amazon Prime. Good morning, Vanessa. Thank you very much for joining the live.
Good morning.
Good
Thank you
morning.
for
Thank you.
having me.
First, before we talk about your new film, I want to ask you about your background and your upbringing in your childhood in Ohio. What led you to pursue a career in the entertainment industry?
Well, I feel it really started when I was at a young age. I really got into poetry and story writing in elementary, junior high years. And eventually it kind of developed into filmmaking. I remember asking my parents for a camera, and it was just, if you've heard of the store Toys R Us, there was a kids camera, and I think it was one Christmas when I was 11 or so. So it wasn't anything fancy, but I ended up getting that camera, and really I just ended up taking it everywhere. I took it on family vacations. I took it to concerts. I took it to just documenting, different programs and different things going on at school. And then eventually it led to the story writing aspect, that I was making short films with my brother and as well as other kids in the neighborhood. And other friends. So it was a lot of fun. And I think I was either 13 or 14 years old, and I went on vacation with my family to Los Angeles. And I just loved, the Hollywood glam and everything about the environment out there. And I kind of proclaimed, I remember saying to my parents, one day I'm going to be a woman filmmaker. And I mean, I didn't necessarily know if that would happen or not, but I definitely had the passion in me. And as I got older, obviously I got involved with other school activities, cheerleading and band and whatnot. But eventually it kind of did full circle back after I got married at a young age in my 20s. My husband's a touring musician. So while he was gone on tours, I was working. And other than that, I was kind of just twiddling my thumbs. I didn't really know how to spend my time. So I ended up looking online and finding a filmmaking group locally. And I went out and auditioned for a zombie movie of all things. And from there, it just kind of snowballed. It definitely, just meeting different people on set and networking. And, I have you in mind for this project, or I want you to audition for this. And so it kind of just developed over time. And I think it's really cool to see my passion at such a young age, at 11 or 12 years old, kind of do a full circle here now in my adult life. So I'm really grateful.
Great. And in the horror film, you mentioned it's The Dead Will Rise, correct? You
Yes.
starred in, it's a trilogy or
The zombie movie, I think that was a second movie, actually. I was not in the first one, but The Devil
Mhm.
Rise 2, yes, that was my first getting my feet wet into filmmaking. And then I want to say not long after, it might have been the year after, I was in a vampire movie of all things. And so that one is the trilogy. And I was in the first two movies. So that was a lot of fun. I typically don't like mystical or, kind of far-fetched movies that I can't really relate to. They're kind of make-believe characters. But playing them is a completely different world, because it's just fun, to play a quote immortal character. And I had the red eyes and really dark hair. And so that was a lot of fun. And then I actually do film for work as well. And my supervisor at the time found out about that movie. And at first I was kind of intimidated, but it ended up working in my favor, because then I was able to get more involved with filmmaking at work. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunities that kind of just, started again, just from this little passion that I had many, many years ago.
Yes. Tell me, when did you start to think about becoming a writer-director yourself?
So that actually developed later. I started acting in the zombie movies in 2012, so just over 10 years ago. I was in a really cool coming of age movie in 2016. It was a teenage movie, and I really loved it, and I really believed in the project. But after it premiered locally, it didn't do the festival circuit. It didn't really come about, getting more out there. So I kind of gave myself a pep talk in 2017. And originally, I reminded myself that originally when I started all of this back in 2012 as a hobby I kind of made it a goal, just subconsciously, that my goal was to get to a film festival I could travel to. And I never said this out loud, but obviously, being a filmmaker, I mean, you want to get into the A-listing, festivals. You want to get into Sundance and Tribeca and Rain Dance and whatnot. But once I got into that realm of behind the camera work a little bit more, I realized that that is more for Hollywood A-listers who are working on their independent projects. So essentially, I mean, unless if you have like millions of investing money behind your project, then that increases your chances of getting into these bigger festivals. But overall, though, I really, back in 2017, I kind of reminded myself, hey, you started this with a goal in mind, and that was to get into a film festival. And so I kind of returned to my roots in January of 2017, beginning of the year, New Year's resolutions. I started, telling myself to write your own movie. And I knew I wanted it to be on mental health because that is just very near and dear to me. I have friends and family who have, depression, anxiety, borderline personality disorder, and different things. And I really wanted it to be on mental health. So essentially, I knew that much, and I knew I wanted to be a drama. But other than that, I mean, I didn't really know where to go from there. So I started kicking around ideas and really just kind of started focusing on, I want it to be a drama and I want it to be on mental health. And essentially it took about a month, but I remember speaking to another filmmaker, and he brought me encouragement too. He's like, nothing is really new. Everything is kind of just, it's a story, and it's, just told from a slightly different perspective. So essentially I kind of just, kept thinking it, rehashing in my mind. I wanted to be on mental health and a drama. And one night when I had insomnia, I saw the movie from start to finish. I knew the first scene and I knew the last scene. And then from there, I just had to fill in the details. And which isn't difficult, actually, because I'm more of a details person. So when it came to the actual script writing, that was actually much easier for me. But that's essentially why I'm involved more so behind the camera.
Yes, you feel that is writing and directing then.
Um, yeah.
But but tell me, beside the background you told me about your family and people around you who suffers from mental illness or or any kind of disorder, did you make any additional research to visualize the script?
Absolutely. So I definitely did my research when it came to psychology and psychiatrists. I definitely did my research in just the different mood disorders and the behaviors of when it comes to, someone with a mood disorder and how they may react when it comes to different triggers and different things in their lives. So I definitely did my research behind the film as well.
Yes, and tell me about the process and finding financing and casting the film. What did you do? It was your debut, right, as a writer director?
Yes, so this was my debut film as a writer director, feature at least. I think I did a short film back in 2015 that I wrote and directed, but that was a silent film and it was 2 minutes long. So, and then it's really kind of crazy to think that I went from a 2 minute silent film movie to a full 97-minute feature length that had travel in it as well. So, but the budget was definitely low budget. We had some executive producers that helped with funding, but overall, really took my time on the script. I really took my time on just, I guess, preparing for the film, pre-production. And I worked a lot of odd jobs. I did a lot of marketing and advertising side jobs to kind of really save up for the budget. And so essentially that's where the money came from. I think I did have an Indiegogo, but not a lot of people knew me as an actor or as a filmmaker. People in my area really knew me as an actress. So I guess you could say that there wasn't a lot of trust behind it. There was a lot of unknowns and uncertainty. So I would like to think that I've definitely made a name for myself, in the filmmaking world, not just in the acting world.
Yes. Tell me, Vanessa, do you think that the people can, the movie your film can help about the awareness and the stigma, to break the stigma about mental illness and encourage people to seek help if they are suffering from certain symptoms?
Absolutely. So the purpose of this movie, I definitely wanted to portray mental health and mental illness in a normalized way. Oftentimes, when mental illness, and I feel like Hollywood is catching up, but oftentimes when mental illness is portrayed in big budget movies, they're very over dramatized. You have, definitely the stigma of the obsessive compulsive stalker and the psychopathic killer and just different things that, like, realistically, I mean, these are pre-pandemic numbers, so we can only imagine what the effects are now. But pre-pandemic, 1 in 5 adults have some sort of emotional or mental trauma. And I mean, these people are our neighbors, our friends, family, our coworkers, and they go about their lives living a very normal life. So I essentially wanted to just normalize the topic. And then also too, I wanted to add the romance just to, I guess to make it entertaining, because we go to the movies to be entertained. So I definitely wanted to make it interesting and entertaining. But when it came to the topic itself, I definitely wanted to just normalize it in a fresh perspective.
Yes. Tell me, during the process of writing, directing, and right now distributing the film online, it is available right now on Amazon Prime, A Story Worth Living. Uh, Tell me, did you face any challenge, or what do you think that was the biggest challenge during this long process?
Well, definitely the pandemic was, because obviously I had this expectation in mind. I wrote the movie in 2017, and like I said, I really took my time on the script. Production was in 2018. 2019, again, we really took our time on post-production. We weren't in a big hurry because I really wanted to make a big splash in 2020. 2020 was going to be the release of the project. And in a way, it was prior, just literally 2 or 3 weeks prior to lockdowns here in the United States. I flew out to LA, and that at the TLC Chinese Theater, which is the big iconic theater out there. There was a film festival, the Golden State Film Festival, and that is where A Story Worth Living, my film, debuted. So that was really cool to say that it world debuted in Hollywood, because I definitely applied for film festivals leading up to that and didn't get in. But here, it got into LA of all places as its first screening. So I was really grateful to experience that. But as soon as I got back from LA, I mean, we're talking 2 weeks later, and we were in shutdowns, and there were just so many unknowns at that time with the pandemic. So it took a good year and a half, to really get back out there into the film festival circuit, because I definitely wanted to, get this movie seen as many festivals as it would be accepted at, just for the sake of the topic itself. And I thought it would do well, and I thought it would be really receptive to the audience and to have that conversation. So I wasn't able to go to all, but as many festivals that I was physically able to be there, I actually tried to be there. And then if the festivals were virtual, I would definitely try to log in or converse in some aspect virtually to spark that and to continue on that conversation.
Yes. You know, maybe 15, 20 years ago, we used to read and write very few trade magazines, entertainment magazines. But right now, the internet is crowded with film reviews, not only written, but also on social media, on groups. I mean, I want to ask you about your experience. Do you think your film got a chance to be reviewed, or right now the reviewing business is overcrowded by major studios and by bigger production?
It is. So yeah, I'm slowly trying to reach out and get definitely bigger reviews. And also too, I know it's doing well on Amazon Prime, but it's really tough trying to get people to review as well. So, but I will say this, just verbally going to these festivals, speaking to audience members, I mean, it was definitely well received at the audience in the audience level. So I do know that there is definitely a need for the film. I do know that there's definitely an interest and that it did well, but it's one of those things of really just getting the feedback there. So it is definitely an oversaturated industry for sure. So it's definitely competitive, and but yeah, we're definitely trying.
Great. And Vanessa, right now, do you have other projects you are dreaming of realizing in the upcoming period?
I am actually working on, I have two projects. I have a short film that I would love to film in the next month or two. And that's just a short script just to get my feet wet, because it has been a couple of years since I've done filmmaking. So so we'll see how that goes. And then I actually started writing a script in 2020. Not having to do with the pandemic, though. It is actually a Christmas movie. And I didn't really like the direction that it was going. So I kind of sat on it a little bit. And then 21, I traveled a lot with the festival circuit for A Story Worth Living. So I kind of returned to it last year, and I have an outline. Now it's just really finding the time and energy to sit down to write the script. But I do have a next feature project in mind, and it's going to be a Christmas movie, and it's going to be a drama.
This is great. Great. Vanessa, I want to thank you very much for coming up to for the live, and congratulations on the film and your journey with it, for 3 years or more right now. And I wish you all the best for your upcoming projects, and congratulations for your newborn baby as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Sherif. This was so fun. And yeah, for those who want to check it out, if you're in the States, I believe, the movie's available on Amazon Prime, and it's called A Story Worth Living.
Yes, by Vanessa Leonard.
Yes. Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day and the weekend. And I hope we can connect again when you have a new project being released.
Thank you. I would love that. I would love that. Stay in touch, Sherif.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good day.
You too.